Celtics deboning the Sixers last night, even with Embiid back. 3/4 of yesterday's panel had Philly. You want their mutes? It won't be nice today. Lakers Warriors episode 2. And Attack of the Drones. Let's go around the horn. Let's go, Tone! May the force be with you. I like that joke. I know it's your day. Well done. The beatdown, even with Joel Embiid coming back and blocking everything in the first half. Boston got something from just about everybody. Maybe not Jason Tatum. They got nothing from Tatum except pushing the referee. And they still cruised, droning on in their dominance. 121-87. Don't need to say any more, Bob Ryan. Around the horn to you. A two-pronged question. How could Philly put out such a performance while getting back the MVP? And did you find yourself thinking the Celtics found themselves last night?
Well, number one, they didn't get back the MVP. They got back a recovering MVP who's not 100% yet. It was a shakedown cruise for him, and I think they're reasonably pleased. Those 5 blocks, one of them was spectacular. Now, Doc Rivers, their coach, is the first person I heard say, which many people now say, it's a make-miss league. And the Celtics made them. 7 different guys made threes. But here's the big takeaway from the Celtics for me. They had 7 turnovers for 5 points. That turnovers have been their Achilles heel going back to last year in the finals. And when they are properly focused and apply themselves right and play the game right, they're the best team in the league. Problem is they don't do that often enough to earn that title yet. They haven't earned the trust of everybody. If they play like that, and that's the key, you're going to miss shots. If they don't turn it over, and if they play like that, they will be very, very difficult to beat.
But I'm sensing, as far as last night, you're thinking it wasn't one game either way, really. It was just a game that happens in a 7-game series, it sounds like.
Of course, listen, I hate to pull rank here, but I've seen a lot. And I'll give you Exhibit A. In 1987, Game 1, Memorial Day, 148-114, the Memorial Day Massacre. Celtics win. Oh, whoopee, whoopee, whoopee. Yeah? Well, they lost Game 2 at home, and they lost the series. And this is so don't get too excited, Celtic fans, but ask your team to do the things that they did last night, and then you'll feel
Got 3 panelists, May 1987. The massacre may have been in their diapers at that point. David Dennis Jr. on what you saw last night.
Yeah, this does remind me of when I was 1 and watched the Memorial Day Massacre. A fantastic memory.
Hey, you got it. Good credit. Where credit is due then, David.
Yeah, you give it to. Yeah, this game, what we learned, this game is what we sort of learned about this Boston Celtics team, is when they make all of their threes, they can't be beaten. And they do this once or twice a series. They did this in Game 1 against the Warriors. They did this a couple times against Milwaukee last playoffs. They just get hot. They made 23s basically in 3 quarters compared to the 76ers who only made 6 the entire game. 76ers are not going to overcome that 3-point discrepancy. But for Philadelphia's side of it, this felt like a warm-up game. This felt like they'd won Game 1. They wanted to get Embiid out there and shake the rust off and see how he would look for a few minutes before what felt like the real season's going to start. Real series is going to start in Game 3 when they pull out all the stops.
Courtney Cronin, bring you in here.
It was an impressive win for Boston. As aggressive as they were on the offensive end, they were also as aggressive on the defensive end. They sent 14 doubles on 14 possessions, and that really stifled what Philadelphia was able to do on that end. And I think that I have an issue with the Celtics right now because they don't appear to be the overwhelming favorite once Milwaukee left the field. Like, at moments, it looks like they're playing with their food. We saw what happened in Game 5 when DeJounte Murray was not playing for the Hawks. That's not the first time that a key player had not been there where the Celtics were almost not taking their competition seriously. Without Embiid, in Game 1, they let the Philadelphia 76ers score 119 points. When they're locked in and they're the version of themselves that went to the finals last year, they can go far, but so often we have seen these defensive lapses that have become more characteristic of this Boston team. So if they can play like they did last night going forward, it's going to be a good series.
And Clinton Yates.
last year and this year, the big difference in the team, obviously, is the head coach, Joe Mazzulla. I got on him before about how it seemed like this team was too tight sometimes and too loose other times. They finally figured it out, and they blew out a team that had the MVP coming back. I've got to give them credit for that. From an adjustment standpoint, he got Williams into the rotation a lot more. At least they won that game. I do agree with David, though. This kind of felt like, we had Joel back for one game. When we get this thing back to our place, we'll take it seriously then. But I don't think this is some big sway either way in the series.
Let me ask a follow-up question, Bob, since you brought up Embiid's block. You've seen blocks, a lot of blocks.
Yes.
You saw blocks before they were counted as blocks. This was a block. Have you ever seen somebody break their wrist blocking you shot? That's a legitimate question I want to ask, because I'm always fearful of that, but this is an all-timer, isn't it?
It is an all-timer because Brown is a power dunker for number one, and it's very risky to do what Embiid did because he could have had his hand pushed back and over the rim. But I rank it among, I don't know, maybe the top 5 blocks I've ever seen.
Oh, really? Okay. I wasn't trying to put words in your mouth, David.
I mean, the benefit of this long term is that, Embiid only took 9 shots, but he had 5 blocks, and he was dominant in the paint when he played. So if he's going to match the offense with that, then, we're looking at something, the tide of this season, the series changing when they get home.
I think it's blocks of that nature, I guess I would say, because Adebayo had one on Tatum.
Blocked by James!
Yes. The block by James is a different block to me. The chase down block's different. The LaFonso Ellis all-time block where he cups the ball is a different block. But this one at the rim like that. We'll move on. Tonight, Lakers-Warriors. What the Warriors need to do most to get this series to 1-1. And can the Lakers ride Anthony Davis again to victory? And who will shoot the last 27-footer for Golden State in what maybe you'll call a must-win? David Dennis Jr. around the horn to you. Any and all those questions, please go ahead.
Well, yes, this is a must-win for the Warriors. You do not want to lose both of your home games and then have to go to LA and try to win some games. As terms of what the Warriors need to do, they need to get the running up and down that court. I think they were a little tired in Game 1, but Anthony Davis played more than 40 minutes. He played the whole second half. LeBron played over 40 minutes. They've got to get LeBron and AD more active defensively. LeBron's usage rate in these playoffs are only 27%, which is pretty low, so he's kind of resting on offense. If you can tire them out, then you can tire out that team and make them really, really work. And in terms of defense, you may want to start thinking about sagging off of LeBron. I know he's all-time great, but he's 9 for 49 from 3. And
whoa! Wait, is that Dylan Brooks in Plasma 3 right now? Am I hearing the Dylan Brooks argument? Sag off LeBron. He can't shoot. He's old. There we go, David. Say it all, David. Let me hear it. All right.
I poked the bear. Not really. Please.
Oh, Cody Crowder, bring you in here.
The Lakers are playing Anthony Davis in drop coverage, which I know surprises some people. And considering how well the Warriors fared in the postseason last year against Boston when they were playing drop coverage, which led to an unimaginable amount of wide open looks for Steph Curry from 3. I think this can actually work in the Warriors' favor. So instead of trying to counteract that and find good looks, open looks inside, continue to shoot at the clip they were doing with Curry and Clay. They were 12 of 29, so the efficiency was, so-so for them in Game 1, but I think you continue to attempt the threes, 53 of them for a team in Game 1, and I think that you can force the Lakers into situations that maybe we didn't see as much from them in Game 1.
Ben Yates.
I respectfully disagree. I think this team has to get to the free throw line more often than Dubs. The Game 1 discrepancy was 29-6. It just feels like you can't win a game when you're not getting to the line that often. I do think J.K. could play Kuminga a little bit more just to kind of mix it up, but man, the Lakers, this is a situation where it sort of feels like all of the things that we've heard all season about this squad and all of the different machinations of players they've had kind of looks like it's finally coming together. I'm surprised and I'm happy.
Well, you said before we sat down, you can see a path to victory not only in this series, but to the championship for the Lakers right now.
I thought the Lakers were going to beat the Grizzlies because of the injury situation, but I think if you can find a scenario in which LeBron is actually playing in the post more, which allows, Reeves and Belo and these other guys to be able to get their outside shot going, you don't tire them out as much, and they match up well with some people. If AD's going to act like he's the best player on the planet, this is what you rooted for, and now it's here, Lakers.
Bob, you're nodding along here with Clinton. You're seeing something with the Lakers.
Well, I'm not lying on, but I'm thinking a couple of things. Number one is that the Warriors do not have a matchup for Davis. They're not going to stop Davis. That's not going to be the issue. To my mind, they're going to put up with his points. He's going to get them. They're not going to stop him. And that's that. Now, most people don't have a matchup, but they don't have one. Draymond, it's not you. So no, let's get that straight. Okay, I think but you can't have it both ways, Clinton. You can't get it to go to the line if you're taking nothing but threes. I got 3 different guys had 6 threes, which is a record. Okay, whoopee, that's nice. Okay, and that's fine. And they almost won the game playing the way they played. I think they got to just concentrate more on offense. They're not going to stop Davis. I think the idea of sagging off David on LeBron is very good, because I'd rather have him shooting from the outside than him going to the basket. And one other thing about the Lakers, and the minutes, I took a look at those minutes and said, whoa, okay, Darvin, are you going to keep doing this? That might be counterproductive in the long run. Somebody has to be the third guy. Now, the other guy tonight, it was Schroeder, and they got to find that maybe they need a third and a fourth guy to help the big team.
Bob, do you agree tonight's a must-win for Golden State?
I think it's a damn well better win.
Well, better win, and who you got?
I got the Warriors.
David Dennis Jr.?
Home teams have lost game 1 or 15-0 in game 2. I'm going to take the
We
Warriors.
saw that with Philadelphia last night. Boston over Philadelphia. Courtney?
Warriors tonight, series 1-1 when it goes to LA.
See why?
Yes and yes, I have spoken.
You must have seen it last night, the drone cam. I know I've been talking about it before. It's over, it looks like it's over the court. It's not. It's actually over the seats. Guys, I'm going to ask you thumbs up or thumbs down, but here's my, it's not a hot take. It's got to be a better camera than it was on there. I need to see more. I need to see the ball when they step away from midcourt a little bit more, right? Thumbs up or thumbs down?
Yep. Here.
Fire till next. Up Ryan 17, David Dennis Jr. 10, Courtney Cronin 8, Clinton Yates 10. That's how you do a drone shot right there. You see what I'm talking about?
Thank you.
Lamar
Well
Jackson,
done.
Happy Ravens, speaking for the first time since his new deal. Let's take a listen.
Today we're gonna keep it about the future. I'm not really worried about what happened in the past. We're gonna keep it about these next 5 years. To be honest with you, I really didn't care for other teams. Really, I just really wanted to get something down here. And okay, other teams cool, but I want to be a Raven.
Lots of laughter and shumminess from everyone at the podium. Harbaugh and Jackson especially. More specific financials are now being reported and continue to be both big and a point for differing sides to say Jackson got it all without an agent or Jackson didn't get enough because he didn't have an agent. It's very odd how some are viewing all of this. Courtney Cronin, I turn to you. How'd you hear Jackson there?
I heard him as a player who saw the light throughout this process when Jalen Hurts signed his deal. That was what Lamar Jackson needed to realize in knowing that Deshaun Watson was the anomaly, not something that was going to be attainable for him. So the $179 million in guaranteed money that Jalen Hurts got, Lamar Jackson, without an agent, was able to get a near carbon copy of that contract in $185 million. You saw all the stats there on the tweet from Jamison Hensley. First, ranking first in so many different categories. For Lamar Jackson, I think that he really pulled this off the way that he intended to and didn't really have to concede much.
Dave Dennis Jr.
First of all, it's what I see, and that's hair that's laid to the gods. Beautiful hair from Lamar Jackson there. But the 2 words that stuck out to me, Felicia Jones, his mother, who he said is a superhero, somebody who has taken so much heat throughout this entire process, saying that she doesn't know what she's doing, she's in over her head, and she was right there with him the entire step of the way, securing this contract and standing steadfast. Shout out to her and all the moms who stand out for their kids just like that.
Bob Ryan.
Well, congratulations, Lamar. You got your money. And my question is, I can't wait. My intuition to game 1. And game's over, and the media comes in and they say, Lamar, now about that play in the third quarter, I'm only going to talk about the future. I'm not dealing with the past. I mean, and then he cited being a grown man several times during his dissertation today. A grown man will answer those kind of questions, Lamar. Just remember that.
You lost me there. Okay. You didn't get a laughing, chummy type of press conference here. You got something that a relationship still has some fractures in it.
Oh, I got arrogance and hostility.
Clinton Yates, I'll turn to you.
You know, I understand where Bob is coming from on this, although I don't agree with what he's saying. I do think the relationship matters going forward. I understand completely that the financial restructuring of what a quarterback can and cannot get is very important. But I'm kind of here for the tea. Y'all out here talking about cookouts and barbecues right now. Let's see what happens when you're getting popped by the Steelers and the Bengals.
Okay.
Like, and now he's got all that money. You have to produce. You have not even ended the last 2 seasons on the field. So I'm very intrigued as to how the relationship between him and the coach goes. But I'm happy for you, Lamar. Let me hold something. You don't even have to pay an agent no more. I'm right here.
Courtney, let me turn to you on maybe the sentiment Bob was invoking. Some Baltimore Ravens fans were just about done with Lamar Jackson when he, demanded a trade. Do you believe the relationship still has some working through here?
I'm sure there's going to be some massaging that needs to be done, but let's think about this. It went on for 27 months. Lamar Jackson doesn't want to talk about it because those were 27 painstaking months of not knowing what his future was going to be. Now he's got Odell Beckham, he's got Zay Flowers. I think he's excited not only about the bag that he just got, but the players that he's finally going to be able to throw the ball to, an actual receiving core in Baltimore.
We'll move on. Buy or sell two. What is happening in the NHL right now? How are teams having guys score 4 goals and losing every night? Draisaitl last night, hat trick plus for Edmonton, but Vegas gets the win in Game 1. They scored 6. Their offense has been on fire the last 2 weeks. Clinton, your takeaway.
You know, this was fire wagon hockey last night, and it was a fun skate all around. But Jay Woodcroft, get your team together. You cannot be drawing too many men penalties in the last 2 minutes of a game when you're trying to get back into it. For Jack Eichel to then pluck Connor McDavid, by the way, 2 guys went 1 and 2 in the draft, and then get the empty netter, it was emblematic of the entire game. Sure, they got 4 goals from Draisaitl, did not have their heads in it in the end.
Courtney Cronin.
The Golden Knights converted on 4 even-strength goals. They were the better team last night, and the comedy of errors that Clinton just pointed out when Edmonton's pulling its goalie and in the process gets too many men on the ice, that shows me that's a team that was not necessarily locked in. Apparently, they were on a beach vacation before the second round started. Maybe they'll be locked in for game 2.
David Dennis Jr.
Yeah, it's not just that the Oilers were giving up goals, is when they were giving them up. They score, they give up a goal 40 seconds later. They score in the third period, they give another goal 1 minute later. They could not gain the momentum they needed. This series is going to come down to power play versus even match, because the Oilers are 11 for 19 in the power play, which is 57%, is astronomical, but they cannot match up when everybody's on the ice.
Bob Ryan.
I thought Draisaitl was supposed to be the Klay Thompson to McDavid's Curry, but last night it was the other way around, of course. That was an
McDavid
entertaining
was
game. If you're going to go to one hockey game all year, you might want to pick that one for fun. It was fun. Nothing definitive about that series, about that
Well,
game.
you bring up McDavid, and the question is he hurt? I mean, are the Oilers right now? Everyone picked Edmonton in the series, and that's disrespect to Vegas. They won their division. Stone is back.
Don't sleep, though. The Kings banged out the Jets, and they had plenty of time off. The Golden Knights banged out the Jets. They had plenty of time off while the Oilers were dealing with the Kings. It affected this game.
Courtney Cronin, David Dennis Jr., thanks for your time today. Clinton Yates, Bob Ryan. Showdown, 2 minutes.
This is the way.
Yates, Bob Ryan, good luck in Showdown. Something Patrick Beverley said I want to get your take on. This was on Beverley's podcast. He said that Russell Westbrook, former Laker, current Clipper, and he, former Laker, current Bull, were talking that if the Lakers win the title, Westbrook wants his ring. Clinton, make a ruling on this.
Here's my idea. At ring night, you invite them both, you play against the Clippers so that Westbrook's already there, and then you do a reality show style situation where LeBron, Raymond James decides if they get the rings or not. You show it to everybody. The Lakers put on the best show on turf.
Bob Ryan.
I wonder if either one of them ever heard the phrase addition by subtraction, because that's what they were. Were they still with the Lakers, they'd be home watching the playoffs with the rest of their Laker teammates.
I don't even know what the cutoff is, how many games you have to play. I don't think this one's going to work out for Russ or Beverly. We'll move on. Wander Franco breakout. It's been all season. He had the barehanded Kevin Mitchell catch last week. But last night, he had multiple highlights. Pick the better one here. The 425-foot moonshot, or the play that tests the very letter of the unwritten rules. Soft tossing to himself while making the routine play there. Bob, best highlight.
How wonderful is this young man? This play here is showing off, and look, he threw him out by through steps anyway. It's the catch with their hand down the left field line. That is a truly over his shoulder.
Yeah, and for all of you people,
it's the play of the year.
Okay, see why?
all of you people saying that Wander is a hot dog and doesn't play hard, look at the highlight again when he catches that ball in foul territory. The front of his pants are dirty, which means he's been getting it already. He's
a hot dog.
That kid is a
We
hard
love
dog.
hot dogs. Clinton Yates, Bob Ryan split the point. Last showdown was the New York Yankees. They're on a 2-game tear, but still came into today 8.5 back. Tampa in last place. They had a walk-off win last night, but there were fire Boone chants in the crowd. Before the game, Brian Cashman said, "Don't count us out." And was asked if it's a championship caliber team. He said, "Championship caliber operation." Clinton, how do you count these Yankees?
I count them the same way I count everything that happened way back in the day. Like, I don't know, it was the Obama administration the last time they won a World Series. Come on, man. You're not in anything close to first place. You know why? Because the Rays and Wander are getting
Bob Ryan.
Everything in sports must be viewed in context, and the context is, aside from the Rays, the rest of the American League is wide open, and they know that if they get some of those $150 million worth of injured players back, they'll be able to get a wild card spot.
We'll give Bob Ryan the point of
Is it
face shot.
My congratulations to Joel Embiid, who is the third consecutive MVP in the National Basketball Association, for whom English is second language. Yes, folks, our last 3 MVPs are from Greece, Serbia, and Cameroon. We've gone a long way from Georgi Gluchkov, back in 1985, the first European-bred player to come in the NBA